Thanks, Chair. Mr. Giroux, it's been 9 years under this government. Canadian workers today get about 58 cents of investment for every dollar American workers get. And this is even before the capital gains tax hike takes place. Do you think that this capital gains tax hike will negatively impact what businesses invest in their workers?
It's quite possible, given that the inclusion rate will increase for corporations, but it's also introduced at the same time as the lifetime capital gains exemption is increasing for small business owners, and at the same time that there is a new exemption for certain types of entrepreneurs. However, for larger businesses, there is no such exemption, and it's quite possible, knowing that the behavior of businesses is dependent on the overall tax rates they pay, it's quite possible that the amount of investment will be lower, other things being equal.
Yeah, and exactly. So, just for you to confirm that what that could mean is a higher capital gains tax could mean less investment on workers' paychecks, on investing in equipment, growing the company, or even hiring more workers, which we know Canada's in a productivity crisis. Can you confirm that these are some of the knock-on effects of this?
That would be what you would normally expect, as I said, other things being equal, but that may not happen equally in all sectors, especially sectors where there are other tax incentives.
Absolutely. The government admits that there's 300,000 businesses, most of them small businesses, that would be affected by this capital gains tax hike. That means there's hundreds of thousands of businesses, and that's millions of workers. Canada is in a productivity crisis, as per the Bank of Canada. They said this is a break glass emergency crisis right now. Could this also impact the job creators and those businesses, making productivity even worse?
A number of groups have mentioned that it will impede or not restrict, but it will lower investment that would otherwise take place, and de facto also reduce employment. Again, other things being equal.
So that would, and in other words, reduce productivity.
It's not something that is favorable to increasing productivity. That's
exactly. Okay. We've seen over the last 9 years of this government, because of their policies, we've seen $460 billion of investment flow to the U.S. or outflow out to the U.S. We've seen U.S. GDP per person has increased 50%, whereas in Canada, it's only grown 4.7% in the same given time. Do you think investors are less likely to invest in Canadian workers? And this capital gains tax hike would or could have a knock-on effect of having U.S. workers getting a higher paycheck due to investment leaving Canada?
Well, as a general rule, if you tax something, there is less of it. So if you tax investment, other things being equal, again, it's likely, and evidence suggests or literature suggests, that there should be slightly less of it if you tax something.
Okay, fair enough. I want to continue on with the conversation my last colleague had about the carbon tax scam. When the report was released, it was admitted that about $25 billion is what the hit to the economy would be because of this carbon tax scam. And it took Conservatives pushing on this for this report to be released by the department. Have you done an analysis, or is there an estimate on what impact this would put on Canadian, on government revenues at all?
In our March 2022 and 2023 reports, we provided estimates of the potential budgetary impact related to carbon pricing. And essentially,
would that include this $25 billion hit to the economy?
It would include our estimate of the impact on real GDP. So our estimate at that time, I don't have the dollar figure, but it was 1.3% in terms of the reduction in real GDP. That's compared to the 0.9% reduction.
And what does that mean? Does that mean it's because businesses would invest less in their own businesses and workers would have less?
It's essentially, that reflects the economic impact of the distortionary tax of related, or the distortion created from carbon pricing. So
Okay.
households having to shift.
I just have one quick last question. I just wanted to confirm one more time that given even this report, given all the information we have today, including whatever error, which I think was corrected by you rightfully, Mr. Giroux, that at the end of the day, that a majority of households will be worse off when you factor in the economic and fiscal impacts of the carbon tax scam.
We know it's true if you factor the fuel charge and the output-based pricing system. We are in the process of updating our analysis to isolate the impact of the fuel charge.
But that conclusion will not change, in your opinion.
Thank you, gentlemen.